in a lot of regards. You run 17 plays in the first half and score 21 points. The turnovers hurt us. We haven't been able to survive around here with a victory and be -2 in the turnover game. So that was maybe a credit to we played a little better than without the turnovers, certainly, than the score indicates. But it was a good formula for Idaho. They did a good job of keeping us off the field, and one of the parts of being in a tempo offense is you come off the field fast, and if you don't get the ball back, you don't have it very much. And when you go 70 yards and then 95 yards for touchdowns and back-to-back plays, your defense ends up playing a lot of snaps. And so our defense has ended up playing 200 snaps in the last 2 weeks. So the open week for us is good in that regard, the fact that we're not going to practice today. We're just going to lift and watch film, and then we'll resume practice tomorrow. Probably we'll take Friday off also. Won't be able to take Monday off now with the Tuesday night game, but at least give us our guys some time to let their legs recover a little bit, let their bodies recover a little bit, their minds recover a little bit. The coaches will spend a couple days out recruiting this week. They were out yesterday, and they'll be out again Friday, and so that's helpful from that standpoint that we can recover a little bit as players and get some things done coaching-wise that we need to get done. Lafayette, last year we just weren't in their ballpark. We were in their league, but we weren't in their league. Maybe I should say we were in the Sun Belt, but we weren't in their league. And they took us out behind the woodshed and spanked us pretty good. And there was a big separation between us and them. And hopefully we're closing that gap a little bit. But this is basically the same team that we're going to play. I think there were 19 starters back at the beginning of the year from last year. Senior quarterback, good tailbacks, good big offensive line. By the time they're 3 defensive linemen, they're so big. By the time they get in stances, they cover up the guards and the tackles and the center. There aren't many gaps the linebackers have to cover inside because they're so big. That was humorous, guys. Okay. They are big and strong, and they're kind of the standard for the league. They've won it 3 years in a row, or been a part of it 3 years in a row, and so they're the team that you have to be thinking about as you try to build your program, which we certainly have been. They got off to a little bit of a slower start than I think we all anticipated, though they did play Ole Miss and Boise State, Boise on the road and Ole Miss on the road. Probably the game that may have surprised all of us was the La Tech game, but they bounced back, got a good win against Georgia State Saturday night. Georgia State played them tough, took them down to the end. Lafayette had to make a drive in the last few minutes of the game to win the football game, so that was interesting to denote and watch and everything. So Tuesday night game is I've never played on Tuesday night before or coached on Tuesday night that I can remember, other than maybe for a bowl game, so this is a little bit different experience, but a good one. We're on national television. I had politicked hard with the Sun Belt Conference in the off season to try to get a weeknight game, hoping that our student body would come and paint their faces and act crazy and get into the game, and I hope they still do. Lo and behold, we not only got a Tuesday night game, we got a Thursday night game, so we have 2 games, and what a great opportunity for us, for our university and for San Marcos. Tuesday night, I'm not 100% certain of this, but I just about bet right here that we'll be the only college football game on television that night. So it's an opportunity for us to display our beautiful town and university and our football program. And we just get to do it against a really tough football team. So we need students to show up. I think our out-of-town fans may have a little harder time on a Tuesday night, but we need our students to come and paint their faces and tear down the goalpost and do things like that. and tailgate and
Get those assignments in early.
yeah, get those assignments in early, and you know, if we can find a way to win, gosh, if we're not done by 8 o'clock classes, we'll quit and go to class. So, okay.
Did you practice Sunday and Monday?
We practice Sunday, not Monday. Monday's always our day off. That's our guys. Yeah, well, I'm going to give them another day off this week. We're going to watch film and lift, but we're not going to practice today.
Coach, with your defense playing so many plays, how's your feel on that side of the ball?
You know, we come out of the game as good as any game that we have come out of this year, amazingly. We rotated a lot of guys Saturday night defensively. Dick didn't have to wash the offensive uniforms. We didn't get very dirty offensively, but we played a lot of guys on defense, and we're fortunate we got out of it. Aaron's been nursing a shoulder, and he's probably about as good as you've been in a while, right? Yeah. Most of our injury list is really pretty good. You know, so that was fortunate having to play that many snaps.
Was Robert at 100% that game?
I think so. You know, Robert would answer that better than I, but we felt like he was, or we wouldn't have taken the liberty to play him. He probably would have played more, but we didn't play many snaps, and Terrence Franks exploded. So, what a great game for Terrence! Huge. You saw his speed. He's probably the fastest guy on our football team, if not one of the top two, certainly. And when we got him in different places. In the edge, he made huge plays, and Terrence ran 4.3 for us last spring. So I mean, he can run, and he used his speed well for us. I thought the last touchdown they had a pretty good angle on him, and he just outran the guy. I mean, it was a pretty amazing burst there that he had. So it was good, and certainly huge runs on his part. And I think everybody on our football team is excited for Terrence's success. There's not anybody who doesn't admire and respect Terrence Franks for the way he practices, the way he loves his teammates and his football team, the unselfishness that he displays on a day-in, day-out basis. I don't think there's anybody that loves Texas State any more than Terrence, and can't say enough good things about what he's meant to this program since I've been here.
If Franks is not the fastest guy, who would be? Who's
C.J. Best would probably tell you he's faster than Terrence, right? Did you ever have the race? We're going to have a race, but we never did have it, did we? We're still going to have it at the end of the year, maybe. Yeah. Terrence says no. C.J. would say, let's bring it on. Well, I'm sure they're excited. You know, we have been fortunate. We've been on ESPN News 2 or 3 times now, or a couple times at least, and we've got an ESPNU game later in the year. And I know that anytime they have the opportunity to be a national game like that, it's pretty exciting for them, and it's great for our program, great for recruiting. You know, our guys will be fired up to play Tuesday night.
Looking at tape, is there something that you see about Lafayette that they haven't had in their first couple games this year versus last year that maybe the reason why they got off to such a slow start?
The one thing that sticks out, going into the Georgia State game, they were -9 in turnover takeaway margin. They had gotten 1 turnover and turned it over 10 times. So, you know, that's probably the biggest. They gave up a few big plays to Louisiana Tech. They went 99 yards on one play. But they're still Lafayette. They're still big, strong, got good players. You know, I mean, they're playing a lot of guys. They had an injury or two to their best wide receiver. Hadn't played in a while until Saturday against Georgia State. He made a difference in that game, Jamal Robinson. So that's the only thing I think you can really pick up on. And then they've La Tech obviously is a pretty good team, and we know what's Ole Miss, number 4 in the nation today, something like that. And Boise State is a good football team. Gave Ole Miss all they wanted in a game, so they've played a tough schedule.
Coach, obviously with Frank's making these, having these big runs, it's allowed him to block well in terms of saying the holes are wide open for him. Can you talk about the progress of that touch?
Well, our guys will have to watch the film of last year's game against Lafayette, and they will be very embarrassed to watch it. It's painful, and but we're not the same offensive line. I mean, we've come a long way, and there's no doubt about that. And the numbers reinforce that.
Get manhandled a little last year.
Oh, badly. We had just come off beating Wyoming, and at different times in this program, I don't think we handled success well, and I don't think we handled failure well, and I'm not sure we handled that success as well as we needed to. And we that was our first Sun Belt game. I'm not sure any of us really knew what we were getting into going into that game, and we got a rude awakening of how tough the conference is. And yes, we did physically. We didn't hold up at all. That's true.
When you talk about handling success and keep you guys in check, you mentioned to them in the defense that with all the great sacks and turnovers that they had, they still gave up their points to an Iowa team that played you guys at one possession, even though they haven't won a game in season.
I don't. This team is a little different. As I mentioned, we haven't handled some of that around here in the past. This team has handled everything really well. The marginal, I was a little worried after the Pine Bluff game we might get a little out of kilter, but they've kept everything in perspective and continued to prepare and work hard and play hard, and understood that the margin for us winning is pretty fine. So I think the defensive guys know that what they did Saturday night. I think they understood they got some sacks, and we hit the quarterback about 20 times. But I think they also have a pretty good understanding that we've got a long ways to improve fundamentally. We spent a time talking to our players over the weekend about, as I think I may have mentioned in here, you need to be better in October than you were in September. Aaron's a great example of that. He's a junior college guy that didn't have the benefit of spring practice, and he's played a lot for us already. But he's going to be better in October than he was in September. Rashad Dillon, all the new guys that hadn't played much. And you need to be better in November than you are in October if you're going to have the kind of season you really want to have. And so I think one of the good things about our team that I like is we're pretty grounded. I think we have a good understanding of who we are and what we are, which makes my job a lot easier. You keep your antennas up as a coach, for all those kinds of things, but by no means do I think any of us know that we've arrived, and we know where we fit in the Sun Belt last year, and we know we were down the pecking order, then we weren't in this team's league, and we know it's going to take our best shot Tuesday night to have a chance. Said what?
You said that last year the team was not in Lafayette's league last year. How far have they came from the last game?
Well, we'll know Tuesday night. It's hard for me to answer that question today. I mean, we've come a long way, but we'll get a truer barometer here in the next, few weeks as to where we have been able to move in the Sun Belt Conference. It's hard to close the ground on Lafayette when they have so many people back. You got 19 starters back, and it makes it difficult. This is what they were with 19, and they got them all back. They should be better, and everything. And they got a lot of pride in their program. And I read where one of their players said, when you've been in the front seats, you don't want to have to go to the back seat. And they've been in the front seat, and I'm not sure we've been in the car yet. So, we're just trying to get in the car right now.
Coach, at the end of the game tonight, Idaho had gouged out a little bit on defense. up 35-30, they've got some time on the clock. I thought your defense made some great plays there at the end to turn them away. I mean, obviously, there was some kind of trepidation there. But you guys, was there any kind of worry about you guys holding it that way? I guess we can ask them too about that. But did they have a little burst in the end to make the plays that they needed to?
Well, if you're asking if I was concerned, yes, is the answer. I mean, and I don't mean that in any lack of confidence of our defense, because we had done a great job of, number one, not giving up the big play. Number two, making them earn everything and drive for it. And number three, playing pretty good in the red zone. No matter what you say, those are pretty good qualities, even if you have to play 100 snaps. We didn't give up cheap scores. We made the plays when we needed to. Jamad's 2 big interceptions were huge. We partially blocked a field goal. I don't know if you guys actually realize that, but Mayo got his hand on the one field goal. They missed the other field goal. So we had done a lot of good things, but yeah, you had to be concerned. I mean, one of the disappointing things you have in your offense is we needed 1 first down to win the game, and we couldn't get it. Those were, we called the 3 best plays we thought we could call at the time, and we didn't get the first down. Called the same play on 3rd down, Terrence went 70 on, we didn't block it as well. You grind as a coach on whether to throw it in that situation, but if you throw it and stop the clock, they save their timeouts, and they got a little more time. And so you have a lot of things to consider in that situation, and everything. And we put it in our defense's hands to ice the game, and they met the challenge.
Is there anything you feel defensively that you have to do to maybe lock down on your run defense a little more?
Our front's got to get better. Our down guys, our gap control, our leverage, a lot of those kinds of things have to get better. This is going to continue to be a work in progress defense, but to our credit and to Coach Thompson's credit and our guys' credit, they sometimes we look a little ugly, but we're keeping points off the board for the most part. And I don't think there's any doubt the huge play in the game Saturday night, I think we talked about this afterwards, was Craig's fumble of the punt. It's 21-3, and if Craig just goes down, we've got the ball at their 25-yard line, and I'm feeling pretty good that we're going to make it 28-3. And if we got it to 28-3, we've got our foot on their neck pretty hard now, with the amount of time left and everything. And the guy punches it out, it goes right to the punter, and the rest we all know. So we had a chance to kind of put them in a difficult position, and we just didn't get it done.
Last year during conference season, Coach, not necessarily Idaho, but Lafayette, especially. The play in the interior of the defensive line, and they're going to try to power, and you guys have power on power at this point. Is your team ready for that? Y'all thought y'all were last year, it worked. And then you got toward the end of the year in the last 3 games, and they just kind of power in. They're going to do that until you stop it. That's coming, right?
We'll find out. I mean, I think we go into every game since I've been here, always been concerned about stopping the run first, and that's a concern. And this is a big offensive line and big backs, but we would be concerned no matter what in that situation that we're able to do something to manage that. Talking with John the last day or two and looking at their offense, I mean, they are big, strong, and powerful, and that's where you have to match up with.
Do you have, because Broadway is such a dual threat quarterback, you have to spy?
I don't think you can spy. I think you have to be aware of the quarterback run game, though. Some of their offense is similar to some of ours, and so our guys see some of it on a daily basis. Obviously, I think you have to pick and choose your times to play man coverage, where you can get in a situation where it's a pass and we're running backwards, defending guys, and he pulls it down and runs. that would be the one time where you might keep a nose guard to try to mirror him a little bit, or a linebacker or something like that.
Well, the run defense struggled a little bit. You worried we get a lot of pressure on the quarterback from Mike Godiari. Did you notice a little bit more that you're starting to see you guys are putting a lot more pressure on opposing quarterbacks?
We sure did Saturday night. You know, I think we're second in the conference in sacks. I think we've got 19. I don't know if we ever got close to that last year. We've got a lot more sacks. And you know, in defense of our run defense against Idaho, you had to defend pass first with them. You had to be more pass rush mode oriented and pass coverage oriented, and you had to defend Linehan more than you had to defend their running game. And so we gave up some yards rushing, but we didn't give up any long yards rushing like we did against Illinois.
How about Lafayette? Balanced and
I think we got to defend run first against Lafayette. That's what their preference. They're a fairly balanced team. I mean, Broadway's a good passer. He's probably, you know, the premier returning quarterback in the conference, and he can certainly throw the ball. He threw it well against us last year. They did whatever they wanted to last year. I mean, you know, they ran it, they threw it. It didn't matter what we did. They did what they wanted to. So.
They didn't cover kicks very good, Coach.
Well, second half we got a couple loose. It was. I'm not sure they didn't have their third team in when we did that or something. It was 45-10, I think, or some 3 at that time. So it wasn't very good.
Coming off the performance of Tyler Johnson, out of rhythm, and Dennis Franchione scoring 2 long touchdowns, finished with 76 passing yards. What's the key for him to bounce back?
Oh, he'll bounce back. Tyler's shown us that what he can do. I'm not worried about that. Everything that happened offensively, you have to take a little bit with a grain of salt Saturday night. I mean, I'll take 17 points in 21 plays any day, or 21 points in 17 plays. I said that wrong. Any day. But the counter side was we didn't run many plays, and we didn't have the ball much, and you know, we're sitting there thinking we had a lot of things we could do offensively, but you get a little out of sync, you get a little out of rhythm, not just as a play caller or as a coach, but even as a quarterback or as a guy. So we need to, you know, to our credit, when they closed the gap, we drove it right back down and increased it. And we got the touchdown right before half to make it 21-3. So I think, you know, the first 4 games are more of an indication of Tyler, and I think he's proven himself somewhat. He made some bad choices, and we just got out of rhythm a little bit the other night, and hopefully we can avoid that situation. That's probably as big a thing as anything. He'll play better.
Seems like the last 2 games, both teams, Tulsa and Idaho, were able to lock down your wide receivers a little bit more. Weren't getting many openings. Do you see something similar to that, or just the rhythm like you're talking about?
Well, I'm not sure I agree with that in the Tulsa game. I mean, we had Ija deep for a touchdown. We had Miller deep for a big play, and you know, so I think we got some things done in that game. Again, Saturday night, just kind of unusual the way things turned out. I'm not overly concerned with any of that at this point in time. You know, just like I said, we'll always take 21 points out of 17 plays, but you know, we need to. Our success is a little bit more the drive that we went down and answered, where we had 12 or 13 plays and covered some yards, and you always like the explosives for touchdowns and everything. But I'm kind of keeping that one as a learning experience right there.
You know, the lost in all this is Tyler's touchdown run there this in the 4th quarter. Great block by Brandon Smith in the corner to get him there, and Tyler's ability to read that block to get to the corner, right?
Yeah, Brandon had a great block. Ben Ija did a nice job. Ryan Milton really had the block that sprung him. He got on the linebacker, and the whole line did a nice job, but Ryan really had the big task to control his guy, and it was a good read on the zone read by Tyler and a good run, and the receivers did a nice job of blocking the perimeter.
Which play?
Excuse me? The last touchdown we scored. Y'all good? All right.